while terrorists in Afghanistan are calling the shots, barking orders at feckless and weak Joe Biden, reports are now coming out of Afghanistan that the United States military has already started withdrawing troops from that fallen, collapsed nation. Withdrawing. This is shameful. Right now, the bottom line is we have no idea how many Americans are trapped behind enemy lines. The number goes from a few thousand to tens of thousands, depending on who you ask. Today, the Secretary of State revealed the official list of Americans still unaccounted for. People that registered with the embassy stands at about 1,000. But I want you to listen to the Secretary of State carefully here. He proves why I am so concerned for those Americans left behind.
It can go down when we reach Americans we thought were in Afghanistan who tell us they've already left. We've also found that many people who contact us and identify themselves as American citizens, including by filling out and submitting repatriation assistance forms, are not, in fact, U.S. citizens. Some Americans may choose to stay in Afghanistan.
Do you notice, though, what the Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, did not say as why some of the reasons could be these Americans are not accounted for? The reality is some may be dead. Some may be kidnapped and being held hostage. Some may be in hiding. A lot is my belief, and unable to communicate with anyone. The sheer fact he leaves those clear possibilities off the list proves how inept and delusional this administration really is. In fact, all he did during this speech was lie.
Since March of this year, we've sent 19 separate messages to Americans enrolled with the embassy in Kabul, encouraging and then urging them to leave the country. We've amplified those direct messages on the State Department website and on social media. We even made clear that we would help pay for their repatriation.
That whole statement alone makes me angry, because he's going to blame stranded Americans for their fate now. And by the way, we here on Stinchfield were one of the first to report that the State Department was telling Americans they need to sign promissory notes for up to $2,000 to pay for the cost of their military flights out of Afghanistan. They were going to charge them. What's he talking about offering to pay? Only after the ensuing outrage did the State Department rescind that demand for money and signatures, promising to pay later. As for those Americans abandoned, the Secretary's advice is shamelessly hollow here.
Over the past 24 hours, we've been in direct contact with approximately 500 additional Americans and provided specific instructions on how to get to the airport safely. Together, we will do everything we can to see that that expectation is met.
Get to the airport safely? Come on. These are terrorists. And do everything you can? Joe Biden ordered our special forces to stand down. Stand down when British forces are making their way through the streets of Kabul, rescuing British citizens and their partners. If you're doing everything you can, you would dispatch American forces to do what the Brits are doing. If the Brits can do it, why can't Americans?
We're trained to deploy at short notice to complex environments and tackle a range of functions, from warfighting to something like this, a non-combatant evacuation operation.
We're facing challenges that nobody has experiences for, but I've been really impressed by how agile and adaptable that the whole force has been.
Well, Joe Biden needs to give an immediate order to deploy our Navy SEALs and our Army Rangers, just as the British deployed its 16 Air Assault Brigade. Today, the Pentagon announced just 3 missions outside the airfield have been conducted, rescuing a total of about 200 people. It's a start, but it certainly isn't where we need to be. The frightening reality is we know there are Americans not just in Kabul, but also in remote provinces, volunteers teaching English, maybe young women. There are others, women working to improve the rights of Afghan women. Those Americans, all of them, will face certain death if they are not found. Sadly, I don't believe the United States is looking for them. Joe Biden was asked about those people. His response is actually cut off here by those running his microphone, but it's disturbing. Let's play it.
Thank the press for being here. We're going to go private now.
Mr. President, if Americans are still in Afghanistan now, sir, what will we do if Americans are still there after the deadline?
Well, he chuckled after that, and he says, "You'll be the first I call." You believe that? The audio right there cuts out, but the video, the smirk, it says it all. He giggles it off, telling that reporter, "You'll be the first I call." Now, as commander-in-chief, his #1 duty is to protect Americans. He is failing to do that on so many fronts here. It is so frustrating for all of us watching. The entire Biden-enabled collapse of Afghanistan is proof of how dangerous this president is. And still, this delusional White House wants to praise their response to all of this.
This is one of the largest, most difficult airlifts in history.
This is not Saigon, and we have succeeded in that mission.
I would say that this is now on track, Peter, to be the largest airlift in U.S. history. So no, I would not say that is anything but a success.
Okay.
A success? They believe this is a success? I believe, truly, they have to think we're all stupid. Here is what will happen as a result of their, quote, success. Afghanistan is about to be the capital of Islamic extremism once again. No matter how much they were at odds before, the Taliban and ISIS will form a new partnership. You mark my words on this. And they will align themselves in their mutual quest to wage a holy war against the Western world. Intelligence reports all confirm right now, Al-Qaeda is already re-energized. The United States' surrender in Afghanistan infused the terror group with a renewed sense of overwhelming confidence. All of this means America needs to brace itself. I'm sorry for the bad news here. Attacks on our homeland are already being plotted as we speak. Terrorists are flooding right now the safe haven of Afghanistan, where those plots will continue and be launched from. I hope it doesn't happen, but I do believe it will.
Grant Stinchfield is on Newsmax every night, fighting for the America First agenda.